Betty Butterfly and the Path of No Return. It's in the Harry Potter, Shrek genre, but I wrote it before those. It was my second book. And what I want to tell you now is there's crazy people like General Pappy Tucker, and he's a bad Pappy Tucker. The Wowie Zowie man who rides around on magic carpets. If you like Harry Potter or Shrek, I don't care what age you're, but Betty Butterfly and the Path of No Return is good reading, folks. Now, to buy a copy of Betty Butterfly and the Path of No Return, you can go to Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble, Borders, or you can contact me at tito.luv@verizon.net. That's tito.luv@verizon.net. Today, we're very fortunate to have a serious subject, even though someone here may add a little humor. It's about medical marijuana. Hey! And today, I want to welcome my guest, Todd. Thanks for coming.
I do.
And I need some, sto bene, capisci? But I want to make sure that people get the real idea, because politicians are, I saw, that, you know there's two types of reefer madness movies? One's the old one, like, I'm crazy, you're crazy too, in black and white. And now they have a new version that's really corny.
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, well, listen, you're not missing anything. At least the other one was funny.
Yeah.
They want to make it like, in my day, they say, oh, you shoot that marijuana, do you? And how long you been smoking?
I've been smoking since I was in about the 4th grade.
What would you say are the negative effects from smoking marijuana?
Medical marijuana, it is legal. And marijuana in itself, just like any other drug, however, yes, this is categorically a drug, but it's really an herb.
That's because it's grown, so pharmaceuticals, I think it would be legal, except drug companies can't make money off it because you can grow it in your backyard.
Well, they just hadn't figured out, too, and all the other political reasons to why there ever became a prohibition on it.
They can stop hard drugs if they legalize marijuana, because you're not going to take $20 billion and stop a $200 billion industry. But if they cut out the marijuana and went after real drugs, then I think we'd have a better chance of saving the youth of America.
How about that, by taking the prohibition off of marijuana, period, that it would come to $14 billion in just itself.
In taxes?
The money that would be made by the regulations and taxations of it, would revenue plus the lack of spending that it would take from all the incarcerated individuals and all of the casework that it takes, the money that takes, to operate that, it all would compile into a minimum of $14 billion.
$14 billion?
Yes, $14 billion.
That's how much it would bring in?
That's how much our economy could
enhance
from either from taking off the spendings to enforce the law, to the incarceration of the law, to the incomes that would come in from the taxations.
What do you think? Is it true, like the politicians say, if you smoke marijuana, it'll lead you to heroin and other drugs?
No, it's.
How do they get that nonsense?
The same way that all the other propaganda got formed. Even with what you mentioned here, we are talking about that movie, and the portrayal of a marijuana smoker is more of somebody who's on PCP or methamphetamine. Well,
and doesn't it help cancer victims? They can't eat, it makes them eat?
Yes, it enhances appetite, your appetite. That goes with anybody who has any kind of eating disorder. Some people just simply cannot gain weight. This helps slow down their metabolism a little bit, and it helps them enhance their appetite and gives them a chance to eat.
I remember on TV, I saw an ad that said, this Xanadu, I'll say, just to make something up, it's going to knock out your allergies. Your eyes won't itch. And it went through all this great dissertation, And then at the end, in a very low voice, it said, may cause penal leaching. I just saw one that said, Prestique or something. It said, you may, I'm serious, I saw this the other day, it said, you be careful because you may die from bleeding or commit suicide. Now I need to get rid of those allergies really bad, don't I?
Yeah, and that's one of the great things. I love that.
And when you take drugs, I don't care what it helps, it affects your liver, your kidneys, and you know, all those, it gives you more problems anymore than it did.
Yeah, and that is why the Attorney General, or Surgeon General, excuse me, proclaimed, and also one of the leaders, I can't remember his name, of the DEA, both of them are known to quote that marijuana is the safest known substance to mankind.
Well, we know probably about 20 of our presidents have smoked it, from George Washington and Kennedy and...
George Washington was the largest crop grower.
Yeah. Well, John Wayne had bought, I heard, a lot of land like the tobacco companies did because they thought they were going to legalize it. But the people think just Clinton or Kennedy or whatever, but in the old days, they used to prescribe it like they do aspirin. And it's only when Prohibition came on and a bunch of old ladies or religious fanatics, let's stop the drinking, did they even bother people with marijuana in that? Because Jefferson and all our forefathers were high. Hey, let's make this law. We'll get the SOBs. We'll get them good. They're not going to do that because you have to be patient enough to do that hard work. It takes away stress.
Yes, it does. And to clarify that it wasn't a bunch of old ladies, but rather a bunch of old men.
Well, I was being humorous about that. So
yeah.
I'm sorry, ladies. Don't. Listen,
yeah,
I love women.
I'm trying to stick up
That's
for
why I've been
you.
married 100 times. I need all the help. Thank you very much. Like Elvis. Thank you very much.
No, it's a bunch of old cronies actually who did all that, and William Hearst and Strauss and Levi.
Well, you know, a lot of people that did it, they worked with the mafia to sell booze. I mean, a lot of the WASPs, meaning white Anglo-Saxon Protestants who were ruling this country, they went along with it because it was their money that bought and made the booze, and then they got the mafia to distribute it. So it was still the establishment. I mean, that's the same thing when it comes to Joe Kennedy and all the old Rummers and Al Capone and everything.
Yeah.
You know, my thing is if they, with marijuana and everything else, I just don't know why you'd rather see somebody with cancer suffer with pain. It's an international crime thriller. It has the Italian mob, the Chinese triads, the Russian mob, the Jewish mob, the Irish mob. This is a real book. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent. If you want good reading, exciting and thrilling, A Dish Served Cold by Tito Love. And we want to remember that this is brought to you by Main Performance Magazine USA. You're going to love it. Do you think that there are a lot of marijuana stores now popping up, and they're doing it properly, and they're paying their taxes, and they're helping sick people?
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I see on TV when interviewed, one guy said he paid a ton of taxes, you know, and all that. Do you think
that's part of that $14 billion, by the way,
that comes in?
Sure.
Well, all right, let me ask you this. Do you think
excuse me, the potential $14 billion?
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, but you know, let's not focus on that because we're broke.
Yes.
So we have to focus on that how to get ourselves out of
well,
a hole.
This is
wait.
Okay.
We need to focus on getting ourselves out of a hole.
Yeah.
So let's not focus on that positive.
Yeah.
$14 billion.
Well, let's do. No, that's okay. Everybody else does. Why not you?
Fools will make judgments.
Yeah.
And they will criticize, and many of them.
Well, all a critic is somebody who criticizes someone who can really do something, but at the same time they can't do it themselves. You know, they tell you how to drive a car, but they don't drive a car. They tell you what movie to look at, and you go to as many, if not more, movies than them.
Right, and that's why that pill that you should take that helps you get the desire to put a gun in your mouth is much better, and you shouldn't smoke marijuana.
Yeah, because you should buy from the drug companies.
Absolutely.
And blow all your money. That's what everything is.
Keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing a great job.
And then when you take the drugs, it'll ruin your liver and kidneys and all that. They don't want you to have something they can't control or charge you a lot of money from.
That's true. But So that guy who is paying his money is contributing to society in a positive manner, even though he is doing something that has been widely scrutinized throughout our generations. It is finally coming to real light. It might have something to do with the 6 Nobel Prize scientists that ganged up and shut down the propaganda of the government, saying that this doesn't do this and this doesn't do that, and that happened probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And one of the largest investigators and teams of medical studiers are down in San Diego in Southern California.
I'm going down to get some knowledge from them, folks.
So they're compiling all the information that's shutting down all that stuff too, and this is permitting the freedom of all of the things that have been otherwise oppressed and filed. The doors have come open and things are getting out into the open.
Well, let me ask you this. As a medical marijuana smoker, do you think that these private marijuana stores should continue, or should the government take it over like they do alcohol? Like, if you go back east, you can't do like you do in California, walk in a grocery store and buy liquor or wine. If you go back east, you have to walk into a state store that's owned by the government. So do you think the government should take over and regulate it, sell it, and then have the taxes? Or should these individual stores do it because they're going to do the job better? I asked you a new question, didn't I?
That is like customer service from the mom and pop hardware store to going into a Home Depot.
Oh, okay. So if the government did
I can't say that for Walmart because they do have the individual there to greet you at the store, whereas in Home Depot they don't. You're going to suffer. You're going to compromise the entire situation by taking, if some will call Big Brother, or let's just say government.
They goof up things.
They are not personal.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're right.
They're not personable.
They make you want to die and not do it.
This whole thing is very personable. I said it from the beginning. Each individual responds differently to it, different strains for different brains. One strain does something that another strain doesn't, where that one does, or that one doesn't. If you go and you eliminate the mom and pop shops, you end up getting one big money maker instead of the equal distribution of the potential of individuals making their money. Okay, the more individuals you have making their money, the more taxes that are getting paid.
Right, before we wrap this segment up, is there one thing you want to leave our viewers with as far as the subject of medical marijuana is concerned?
Smoke more marijuana. Smoke marijuana if you've never smoked it before, and find the effects. Do it in a controlled environment.
Well, soon you'll be able to go to our website, www.mainperformanceusa.com, and you can go to our Main Performance magazine, and you'll be able to see video clips of this show, and also you'll be able to go to, if Todd had a link, or when Paul Epstein was there, if he had a link, and go right to the horse's mouth. Not that I'm calling him a horse. I'll tell you what, we're going to be back in a month. Don't you go anywhere. We're going to go outside and discuss your problems. And I want to thank you for coming.
It helps depression as well.
And we're still going outside and talk about your problem. Medical marijuana. Should it be legalized? Should cancer patients not be able to eat or suffer? Or should they be like Tito, going outside? Nah, I'm kidding. Be back in a moment. Capiche? This program is brought to you by Main Performance USA magazine. www.mainperformanceusa.com. If you go to that website, you'll see the people who are bringing this to you, and then they'll tell you our other sponsors, because we had them weekly or monthly. When you open this up, you can find recipes, you can find out critiques of restaurants, you can find out about history, up in the mountains, Running Springs, Big Bear, Lake Arrowhead, or you could go across the Inland Empire. I'm Tito Love. Tell me you want excitement. Give me a call or come to my website.